Long story short, I got burned. So these people didn't ask for either of those, which is great. But the only thing that comes with that is you get complacent, right? What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to the very windy Jomtien Beach. I am trying very hard to keep my skinny butt from getting blown away. After about 2 years in Thailand, it finally happened. It happened to me. I've been an advocate in keeping your things in line so it doesn't happen to you, but I broke a few of my own rules and I became a victim, for lack of a better word. Not too big of a deal, but in today's video, we're gonna go over what happened, how, and how you can make sure it doesn't happen to you. Now we all know that anytime you pump Thailand anything into the almighty YouTube, you're gonna find videos of people talking about all the scams and ways that people will try to take your money from you. And I just wanna say that after 2 years in Thailand, it's very rare, okay? So I've been in situations where it would have been honestly very easy for somebody to scam me out of money, and it never really happened. I had quite a few times where I was thinking to myself, yeah, this is probably a scam. I'm probably about to get ripped off, and it didn't happen, which is great. But the only thing that comes with that is you get complacent, right? Coming from America, you are constantly playing defense, you know, because there's people out trying to take your money, steal your stuff all the time. And after you're in Thailand for a little bit, at least with myself, you can kind of get complacent. Those rules that you've learned back home, you might catch yourself not abiding by all that. Now, this video is by no means me trying to say that, oh, if you come to Thailand, there's gonna be people everywhere that are trying to scam you and you constantly have to worry about everything you're doing. That's not true. Of course, Thailand, just like anywhere else in the world, has good people, honest people, and then there might be some people who are not so honest. Now, for the most part, like I said, there's been multiple things that I've done here, you know, like ordering things online and paying for things first before you get the products or whatever. And in America, that's just a no-go. Until you have what you're buying in your hand, you don't exchange money. In Thailand, that happens a little less often. And for the most part, I've never had any trouble. But earlier this week, it happened to me. I want to get it out there so you guys know it's something you definitely need to watch out for. When it was happening, I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm about to get scammed. But like we said, I've had so many experiences where I felt like that before and things worked out. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll trust them. And lo and behold, I got scammed. I have pretty good faith in this new microphone, but if there is wind noise, my bad. I'll try to fix it in post. But what exactly happened? Okay, so if you've watched the videos recently, you'll know that I just got a new motorbike. And in general, it's pretty lax here when it comes to traffic laws, but I get anxiety from pretty much anything. So essentially, I wanted to make sure all my ducks were in a row. That way, if I hit a checkpoint or whatever, I just didn't want to have to worry about where I was driving or having to be tactical or anything like that. So I got everything else. The only thing was I actually ended up losing my American driver's license here about 2 months ago. Not really that big of a deal by itself, but when it comes to getting a Thai license, the whole process of getting a brand new license, as opposed to transferring a license from another country, it's a lot more. It's more expensive, it takes longer, there's more hoops you gotta jump through. So I was on the lookout for a way to make that process a little bit easier. And if you've spent any time in Thailand, you'll know that the visa agents, or whatever you wanna call them, in general, they can make a lot of logistical stuff a lot easier. You can just give them some money, give them all the paperwork they need, and you're on your way. So with that said, I talked to my visa agent and she gave me a price to get my license taken care of. And essentially, I was being cheap. That's the first mistake I made, is I was being cheap. The whole process through her was already cheap, but I was like, I don't know, that seems a little expensive for Thailand. I feel like I could probably get it cheaper. And we all know the age-old saying, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. So I hop on Facebook. Facebook is a really good tool for getting all kinds of stuff done in Thailand. I hop on Facebook, I start searching around for a licensed company. I essentially wanted to find somebody that's kind of what they do, because I figured they'd probably have better deals. I found a few, messaged a few messaged me back. I got prices from different ones, and then it went bad. Now looking back, hindsight is always 20/20, right? So a few of the first people I talked to, they're like, yeah, here's the process. We need this from you, blah, blah, blah. You send everything in, we'll get your appointment set up, whatever. And then once it's done, we'll mail the license to you, and then you send the money to us after that. So I was like, okay, that seems legit. I like things where I don't have to pay for it before, especially through, you know, the internet. That's in general just a bad thing to do, right? So I probably got 3 or 4 different companies quoted me around the same price, but there was an outlier. There was somebody that quoted me about 2,000 baht less than everybody else. Now, of course, that's not a whole lot of money, but I like to say nobody ever got rich by wasting money, right? Like, I'm always looking for the best deal for whatever I'm doing. So I talked to the people that's 2,000 baht less, and then the red flags start to show up. The first one was they didn't need nearly as much like official documentation from me as everybody else. Kind of makes sense. If you're getting a license, you would need like a passport. There's another thing here in Thailand called a certification of residence, which is something you get from immigration. That's pretty much just an official piece of paper that says you are currently living in Thailand. And that's necessary for bank accounts, if you want to register a motorbike, anything like that. So these people didn't ask for either of those. They just asked for my passport and one more thing that it just didn't seem like enough, right? I was like, well, maybe, who knows? Maybe they've got the connection and they can just kind of push things through. So I start talking to them. They're like, yeah, well, send us this much money first and then send us this paperwork, and then we'll go ahead and process your thing. And then it should be ready within like a week, they said. From what I remember, I think I sent half of the overall price initially, and I was like, okay, half up front, they got to pay people to make stuff happen. That kind of makes sense. And then this is where I pretty much realized that I had shit the bed and I made a mistake. As soon as I sent that over, then all of a sudden they need something like 500 baht, I think they said they wanted, for my medical certificate. So essentially, to get a license in Thailand, you need to go to a doctor, and it's a physical. They have to make sure you can see, all that stuff. So they're like, okay, well, now we need 500 for the certificate. And I'm like, okay, well, you told me it was this much up front, and now there's another 500. So at this point, I know it's a scam. We go back and forth a few times, and I tell them to send my money back. And of course, I get hit with this laundry list of excuses why they can't send my money back. Was it a lot of money? No. Is it kind of embarrassing? Yes, because I should have known better. But like we said earlier, it can be a little bit easy to get complacent. So long story short, I sent that over. I'll let you figure out if I got a license in return. Obviously not. So that's one of the ones it might be best not to cut corners and just do it through the normal process. Now, just because this happened with me, I don't want you guys to think that these services in Thailand where you can pay people to do, paperwork for you or help you out with stuff with immigration. I don't want you to think that those aren't legitimate. There are plenty that are. I've used plenty myself. I've recommended them to other friends who have used them. In general, I like to find one person that can kind of do everything, like my visa agent. It was my fault. I tried to be cheap. I wanted things fast. I essentially didn't want to deal with the process, and I got burned in the end. But that doesn't mean that there aren't legitimate services out there to help you get your license or deal with immigration stuff, whatever. 9 times out of 10, that's going to be all good. It's just a good idea to vet who you're going through. Obviously, it's good to get a recommendation from somebody. And then go figure, a few days after this all happens, I see an article from the Tiger, which is a news outlet here in Thailand, outlining exactly what happened to me. Hey, we're warning foreigners against online license scam. I saw that 3 days too late, and it had actually been posted before I went about it, which I don't know how it slipped through. I try to read the news every single day so I can keep up with what's going on in Thailand. Long story short, I got burned for I think like 2,000 baht, which isn't that big of a deal. I'll survive, but it just goes to show that you can, well, most things are legit and you can get away with a lot more here in Thailand. That's not to say that there aren't some people out there who are not honest and will take your money if you let them. Bit of a shorter video today, guys. I just wanted to let y'all know about this. So one, if you're seeing those ads on Facebook for get your license for, half the price that all the other places charge, too good to be true. I can confirm it is a scam. Thank you guys for watching. I have a rad video that's gonna be dropping sometime in the next 4 or 5 days. I'm not gonna tell you what it is. It's It's gonna be a surprise, but pretty much everybody will enjoy this one. So if that's something you wanna see, make sure you go down, drop subscribe if you made it this far in the video. I'm assuming you liked it, either that or you just hate watching. Either way, I appreciate it. See you in the next video.